Hey guys, Jose from Games Can Be Beautiful here, and I'll be showing you guys how to use level streaming to connect different worlds together into one when you're trying to make an open world game or just generally a game with several rooms and different parts of it without having to load all of them together, which takes up more performance because even if you aren't seeing them, they're still loaded. So first what you start is that you go to Windows, then Levels, and you'll notice I have two levels set up here. I'll just delete them for the purpose of this video. But, okay, let me just delete them here as well. Okay, so once you get the level panel, just place it somewhere comfortable, place it over here. Now let me explain to you what persistent level means. Persistent level is this current level I'm on, so practice world. So if I double click on it, it's going to load this world. And always when you double click on that level, that will always be the persistent world, and then that world can have sub levels underneath. So if you made another world, you can add, if you click here, add an existing world, or you can create a new world. What we'll be doing right now is creating a new world, and we'll be adding, let's call it streaming 1. And just put extra stuff. Okay, so we have streaming 1. It doesn't, yep, and let's add a second world called streaming 2. So now you'll notice that it's highlighted blue. That means it's current. That means it's the world I'm working on. So if I were to place a cube here, and then I click here on the visibility, it'll mean that it's turning off visibility for this world only. And if I made streaming 1 by right-clicking current and then placing a cube, and then if I turn this, right, level 1 would be turned off, level 2 would be turned off. Okay, so let's make sure streaming 1 is current, and we are going to let's make sure that's the right one. No, it's this one. Okay, we're going to make a tiny little platform here, which is going to be world 1. Okay, just make sure you can jump on it. Let's make it relatively big. Just a quick little level here. And now go to streaming 2, make current. Just make the second platform. And now I'm just gonna add this. I'll show you guys something later. Okay, so what persistent level means is it means it's a level that's always going to be there. And that means that no matter what, this will be the level that if you hide it, you can't really see anything else. Why? It's because this is the level that you want to have all your lighting on. You want to have your directional light, your skylight, just the stuff that you always want to be there. That doesn't necessarily take up draw time. Doesn't necessarily like have to be a static mesh or some object. Although you can place objects in the persistent level, like for example would be like ocean or water. And if you're inside a mansion in an island, you should be able to see the water from whenever there's a window. So you'll probably make that persistent, and that means it'll always be loaded. But if you need to always have it loaded, then yeah, just place it in persistent level. Now, these are each their own. And what you do now is that you make sure you go to make current for the persistent level. And you right here, streaming. And you make a box. Now, something you always want to do is make it the size of the walkable area that that your level supposedly is in. And make sure it is always, the streaming volume, it is always in the persistent level. This doesn't necessarily take up a whole lot of data or performance, and it's just, it won't work correctly unless you have a persistent level. So we'll make this for one here, and then we'll add a second one for the second sort of platform. Alright, and make sure it is tall enough for your character, because if your character's head peeks out, then it might unload the world. So you generally want to make it bigger than it actually is. As big as you can, anyways. So now we have these very uneven in height. Yes. There you go. You have these both streaming levels, and they're not currently overlapping on purpose, but you can make them overlap. But you'll see why I set it up like this now. So after you have this set up, go to the world that you want to assign this whatever volume to. Make current. This is streaming 1, where this is from. Make current, then click here to summon level details, and then add a streaming volume. And then click the name of the level streaming volume that we're using, which is this one. And if you want this world to be initially loaded when the game has started, just click initially loaded and initially visible. Visible is not the same as loaded. Loaded is what determines when it's taking performance up. Visible just means you're not going to be seeing it. And usually you don't you want it to be unloaded, which is what will help you with the performance. So now we have this there. Now we'll do the same for the other one. Also, you can unload levels technically by right-clicking them and clicking unload. But yeah, so now make current for the second one. And let's just change this here. Add a streaming element, and we'll make it the second one, which is this one. Alright. And then, if I have not forgotten a step, I believe if I play, you'll see that you can't see the platform. That's because I clicked it is not loaded. But if I jump, and I am now within that box I made for it, it loaded. And I jump again, it's the second level. You'll notice the other one disappeared because I am not in that box. But if, for example, I made this box larger, something like this, maybe a little bit bigger like that as well, I'll load here. And then if I'm here, it also has that one loaded. So what if, for example, you are doing rooms and you want to control which rooms are loading, because maybe one room has a lot of detail. It'll just take up more performance that doesn't need to be taken up. So let's set up the size of this approximately. Yep, set it back. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is, well, by the way, when you change something here, even if you have streaming, if you have it set as streaming 2, it's still modifying it as persistent level. So I might have just accidentally forgotten to go to persistent level, but you generally want to change everything that's going to be in the persistent level and the persistent level. So for now, we're going to make a tiny little platform that's always going to be visible because it's going to be the persistent level, and we're going to make it a bridge in between these two. And then I'm going to make a copy, rotate it, make it a wall. Right? So how this would work, and I'm also going to make this a little bit wider and a little bit over here more. So now notice that that side of the world hasn't loaded yet. You wouldn't be able to see it. There would be a wall right here where this platform is. Let's just pretend this is an alley, a hallway. I guess I can make another one for you guys. This is a wall, okay? Persistent wall. Alright, so I jump here. I am in the first room, right? This is a room, sofa somewhere. You go over here, walk around. Oh, I walked in, it loaded in. Although it is a little weird because it loaded in when I was right here and you could see it pop in. You generally don't want to see that. You generally don't want pop-ins, but you can just change where the streaming volumes are to change that. So, for example, you have this general one for this, and then let's go to persistent level and add another streaming volume. And streaming volume, and make it long. Right, so we'll make it load whenever it's in this hallway, air quotes hallway. Yeah, and now back to levels. Make sure you're on streaming 2, details, and you want to add another array element. And this one's called the third one. You should name these on the world outliner for ease of access. But right now that means we have 2 here, and now if we play, you'll notice that it should, see, it loaded because we were in the streaming volume here. So this is generally how do you make the worlds. First, you'd make the worlds individually on each level, right? You'd make the whole world. So this would be one room, and what you had one buddy working on this whole room in here, and that would be one level. That'd be streaming 2, and then you have the other buddy working on streaming 1 over here, and you guys would be working on each individually, and then you would just let levels add existing, and then you'd add the level, and then you place it in here, and then you'd join it all together with sort of like threading. You'd just thread it all together by making this current and the persistent level and just putting the streaming boxes and deciding when you'll see each part of the level. And by this way, you won't have to have everything loaded at once, and you'll have less performance taking up. So this combined with static mesh LODs and combined static hierarchical level of details using Unreal Engine 4, you should be able to make a relatively good open world game. Next, I'll be showing you guys world composition, which will allow you to make big mountains and landscapes and have each person be able to work on each individual parts. For example, if you had a big Skyrim or Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild level, you guys should be able to work on each individual continent of that level. And you just stream them all together when you want, and then close the seams with the landscape tool, and it'll just be handy dandy. But I'll show you guys later. For now, this was level streaming, and I'll see you guys in the next one.